You're listening to Real Coaching Radio. Building a positive network.
Deeper connection with my children. And as I'm modeling these things, I'm noticing what's going on in me, it is easier sometimes for me to connect deeper with my children. And this all started for me back over 10 years ago. As I said, when I was growing up, I really didn't have a relationship with my parents. I was in the boarding school, then when I was out of the boarding school, I wasn't really with them. And I had always wanted this deep connection with them. And it wasn't until I started on my path of personal growth in my early 20s. I can still remember it like it was yesterday, because before this, when I would have a conversation with my mom, she would be, it was usually her calling me, asking me to come and do something for her, come and fix something for her. And one night out of the blue, she calls me up on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock at night, and she wants to talk to me. And for me, it was just blew my mind, and I was very skeptical about what was going on. And at that point, when she started modeling the behaviors, modeling the changes that was happening in her, I was open to start developing that relationship with her. And in developing that relationship, in the transformation of developing that relationship, that got me to, when I became a parent, to want to develop that relationship with first, before I even became a parent, to develop that same relationship with my spouse, develop this wonderful, loving, open relationship where we could communicate about anything. And then when I became a parent, even after I became a parent, even after I had started my own self-growth, I noticed, like I said before, all these behaviors that I promised myself never to do coming up. And then because I had started on my personal growth, and because I had a wonderful coach, my mom was one of them at that point in time, to help me through that, I was able to start looking at what was going on in me. And doing that and starting to develop that with my children and see the difference in the relationship with them, and the difference in the relationship with my mom, and the difference in the relationship with my wife, has wanted me to just share that with the world and to bring that to other people, whether they have children or not, to develop these loving relationships. Because for me, part of life's purpose is to develop loving relationships with the people around you and with the Supreme. So I'm practicing, and I'm going to continue to practice modeling that. And hopefully someday, like you said, I'll have my PhD in it.
Okay, well, I feel that you already have it, because if you didn't, you couldn't do what you do. So
Thank you.
Let me share with you for a second what was my challenge. So what I'm hearing, what you're sharing, is that you had a huge challenge with your parents when you were a child.
Yes.
And how you were connected or not connected to them. And you may have even said at some point that I will never turn out like them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I said a few nevers. Never, never, never,
Right. And then you noticed later that you turned out just like them.
Yeah. And not only some just like them, maybe even worse is some of the in the boarding school that I went to, some of those teachers as well. It's like that coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm going to keep mine very short. But mine was, would you believe, was about communication and connecting with people. I grew up in a communist country, and I wasn't able to really share my thoughts or what I believed in or what I saw or what I felt So I got into a lot of trouble with the government, and they beat the crap out of me many times. So I got so scared to speak that when I got older, I noticed that I couldn't speak in front of people because it brought up all those things in my childhood that I wasn't able to express myself. So it's been a long journey, and here I am. Many years later, I am in the broadcasting business. So that's like no accident. And I'm teaching other people how to do this. Not just the broadcasting part, but how to express ourselves effectively. Because what people leave out, in my opinion, is their feelings.
You're listening to Real Coaching Radio, building a positive network.